Thank you. The gentlewoman's time has expired. I'd now like to welcome a distinguished gentleman from Texas, a senior member of the committee and also the chairman of the subcommittee on trade, Mr. Brady. Thank you for joining us today. Would you like to ask a question?
Thank you, Chairman Davis, for allowing me to sit in today and for calling this hearing. As you know, we literally have tens of millions of Americans who can't find a full-time job. We have millions more who've simply given up looking for work. After all the bailouts and stimulus and programs, we have fewer Americans working today than 3 years ago. We have about 700,000 fewer women working today than 3 years ago. That's why when Republicans and Democrats passed the payroll extension bill, it included important reforms to unemployment to try to match local workers with local jobs sooner, because what we're doing clearly isn't working. A key part, I sat on that conference committee, sat through the discussions, and a key part of that reform was to allow states, many of whom have innovative programs that succeed, to step forward and share that innovation in programs to allow us to better, again, get people back to work. The law we passed by both Republicans and Democrats, clearly said the first 10 states that meet the criteria laid out in that new statute would receive the waivers to allow the innovation to go forward. Texas submitted their application, I think, 2 days after the President signed the law. And rather than being accepted, embraced, and put to work, it was denied. So the two questions I have is, one, is the Department of Labor ignoring the intent and statute of Congress when it comes to these waiver programs to allow the states to innovate?
Absolutely not, sir. The statute gave the Secretary the option of doing a demonstration project.
Well, I would counter, no, it gave the states the option to apply for an innovation project. The mandate within the law was that the Department of Labor would grant 10 waivers, up to 10 waivers, for states that apply on first-come, first-served basis.
Sir, with great respect, and as a former staffer, the word was may and not shall. So it gave the Secretary the option. I mean that with great respect.
And I do too. And as I just was a lowly congressman serving on the negotiation
lowly staff person.
And we clearly had discussions here. And so, in my view, with the delays you're putting in place, you're hurting a lot of workers who could be taking advantage of this innovative programs at the state level. I think you're substituting the administration's judgment for that of Congress. And one of my worries is that this is an election year and that the Department of Labor is playing politics with a very important program. In your testimony, you made the point that you want to embrace best practices and innovation in these programs. Is that correct?
That's correct, sir.
The Texas program a year and a half ago received an award from your agency for innovation and best
deserved
practice.
it, yes.
They submitted that program to you on a timely basis and were denied. So why the delay? Why the deny? And by the way, if that waiver had been granted and that state would have been allowed to go to work, we would have more than 2,000 Texans back to work today that aren't. So are you ignoring the intent of Congress, or in this election year, are you playing politics with such an important issue?
Sir, we are neither ignoring the intent of Congress nor are we playing politics with this. Quite frankly, Congress told us the Secretary could recognize up to 10 demonstrations, and these demonstrations for the first time in history could use their UI trust fund dollars to do this experimentation. By telling us we could do up to 10 and to do them as demos that would show innovative practices that could be institutionalized and used into the future at net neutrality to their trust fund, you put us in a situation where we had to be, just as you are every day, good stewards of the taxpayers' money.
Now, you do recognize, don't you, that states using innovative programs today are actually investing their own dollars in these programs. So,
and in the case of Texas, that 10% money that I was talking about was the money that Larry,
which is, I think,
Governor used.
Probably as or equally or more important than the trust fund dollars. And my question continues to be, if you're not ignoring the intent of Congress, not playing politics. When will these applications be granted? Will it be granted in
Within
May?
30 days of the day they submit them to us. You have my word on that.
Well,
We have a timeline internally, and the career people are running this process.
so that
and the
could
politicals-
be, what, months from now?
Well, if the first application comes in today, it'll be 30 days from today.
But you just heard from those most interested that the paperwork is very burdensome. The criteria, again, is much broader than what Congress intended. You've taken what was an enthusiastic response by states to want to help you and me put people back to work and have frankly chilled it. I'd be surprised if many states, frankly, step up now, given the fact it's now top down rather than innovation up.
I'll be
I yield back,
disappointed,
Mr.
sir, if they
Chairman.
don't.